Hey, welcome back. We had another live mock draft for you guys, and we're doing it with our local league mates, with some of our keepers for this upcoming season. So this is kind of unknown territory here. People are worried about their draft here, giving up their secrets. But guess what? We don't care. We're going to have fun. We're going to mock draft. I might throw crazy picks up on the board. Who knows? But tonight we've got about 7 of our league mates here. We're going to bring them up one on one.
You want to introduce your brother there? He's also on the stream. I see our coordinator here.
Yes, I forgot he wasn't seen last week. So
Mike is
the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, Mike's our man behind the curtain. Just 2 minutes of fame here, and we're going to make him go away. But he runs the board for us in the live draft, the live stream. And thank you, Mike, for doing that. All the way from Indy. He's not even a local guy.
I know. Almost was, but we know that's David's fault, so we'll leave it at that.
Thanks, David Kalana. Sean, Kamish, what do you got for the guys?
All right, so yeah, like Chris mentioned, we're going to do a keeper draft here. This is, I think, a fun way for you guys to see how you could mock if you're in a keeper league. Even if you're not in a keeper league, most of this draft is going to make sense with any other league as well. Obviously, the players are kind of shifted around. This is our league as right now, what we think people are going to keep in what rounds. On the side there, you'll see we're cut off on 12, but as we're drafting, we'll see if Mike can maybe slide it over that point when Tim gets on the clock. But it'll be kind of cool. You guys might get to meet some of our guys. How we'll have it set up is they'll join our lobby, and then when we have a chance to pop them into our stream here, we'll have them come on, and one-on-one, we'll talk to the guys as they do their picks. And, we have a guest looking very Sithly, the Sith Lord and champion of our league. I'll give the floor to you, Mr. Champion. Do you have anything to say about this mock besides the fact that you've rocked everyone's world by keeping Trey Lance in the 9th right now?
Well, I didn't want to give away too much of my strategy, so I figured Trey Lance in the 9th is good value there and pretty high upside, so we'll see how it goes. Curious, I've only done one mock this way so far, so we'll see how it falls.
It's an experiment, but it is a possibility. Is that what you're telling us?
It's an experiment, yeah. It is. Like, if this goes well, I'll definitely have to consider a little bit more heavily. But
see, because our thought was that the fact that Phil is not keeping, well, potentially, who knows what Phil's going to do, but if, say, Phil doesn't keep Andrews, then you would have the possibility that Andrews or Kelsey falls to that 201.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see what falls to me. That was what I was more interested in, is what would potentially be available at the 2-1.
So that you can snipe me before I have my pick, pretty much.
Precisely.
I felt like we needed like the Star Wars Dark Side intro music. I mean, he's in a dark frame.
Sorry to disappoint.
Do you have any lighting going?
Just the laptop.
My television's on in the background.
You got the game. Oh, Leroyce.
Here enters Luke Skywalker.
All right, so for those of you, Luke Skywalker, for those of you who don't know, and if you've heard about the guy who made trading so a trend in our league, keeps our chats the most interesting they've ever been. The man, the myth, the legend, Leroyce. We once besmirched his team, which turned out to be a lot better than we thought. What's going on?
Indeed. That has happened. And I am that guy.
I see you got the stash rocking. Is that Ben going, or am I just late to the party?
So my facial hair grows.
It's like a story behind it.
Grows extremely slow.
Okay.
This is pretty much fully grown. Like as I continue to let it grow, it does not get any longer. No thicker.
All right.
Facial hair is not my.
I mean, in some ways, it's nice. You know, low maintenance. It just kind of grows where it does and stays there.
Yeah, low maintenance.
And then you have that beard. Got some beard envy there.
Yeah, definitely. I'll trade you.
Mike pops in just to flex the beard.
Yeah. All right, now I'm gone.
All right, well, I think everybody's in here that's going to be, so I think let's just go ahead and start this thing, Mike. And actually, that's on me to start this. So let's go ahead and do it. And we have Joe going first, who we all have already prior knowledge that he's going to be taking Christian McCaffrey. So I'm sure it'll be such suspense as we start this draft.
Is Joe in the lobby to jump on the live feed?
I think he said he would not be able to join me live, but we'll see. There it is, McCaffrey. All right, board op, you can show yourself if you want to talk us through your pick here.
I'm seriously
Mike's over there.
considering, Debo Samuel. I'm just kidding.
Waterways Lewis joined.
With the keepers, I'm probably going to go Devontae right here.
All right. Any consideration for that more so because we have now the 3 wide receiver?
Yeah, I want to get my stud receiver in. This is going to get, when it comes back to around the 3rd round, I don't know if I'll have a couple guys come off the board. I don't know if I have anybody else that high in the 3rd round. I mean, Kelsey being not a keeper is a definite thought right here.
Yeah.
So before that was updated, I was going to go with just Devontae and then ride and see when it comes back down to the 3rd round to me.
So on the sleeper app here, I see it's got the top options are Devontae and Kelsey, and the ADPs for them are 11.1 and 11.1. So that's about as tough a pick as it gets.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was looking back at my history with Trey. So while I did draft him last year, I dropped him a couple times, and I think the most recent time that I picked him up was December 29th. So I think he's going to be outside of my keeper range.
Look at the truthful Sith Lord. He didn't try to pull one over on us. So this would just be an experiment.
Well,
if he
Joe called me out on it, to be fair. So
yeah, he's keeping track of that. He wants to push that back.
Yeah.
All right, so some picks we had go off the board there. We had an auto pick of CeeDee Lamb, auto pick of Kamara. I think that's pretty likely how this would go.
Yeah,
especially now with Kamara's, if I was not to keep him with his suspension not coming. And then
team
we had
6 there. That's David's team, right?
Yep, that's an auto pick in Kelsey. And I think he'll take Andrew or Kelsey there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
2 more auto picks off the board. I'm sorry, those were keepers. Derrick Henry. So, yep. Now we're to Tim.
So while I have the time, I was looking to see maybe what running back would fall to me. I had just run a mock where Kamara had fallen, so obviously that didn't happen here. So here, looking at Mark Andrews would be kind of a wash if I had Kelsey, or coming and getting a good receiver. Not looking at any other running backs here at the beginning.
I'd consider it a win for you because you get Kelsey, or even if you think Kelsey is potentially the one this year. For keeper value, you would then have Andrews who. But
I'll tell you what, with me keeping Lance that late, I'm one that likes to stack.
Hard to pass that up.
The stack is interesting there.
All right, here is the Turts himself, Tidewater Turtles. You would think he was not happy with that pick, seeing as he has 2 running backs kept. But there you are, and look at that. So this is kind of what I talked about, Chris. Why I'm really considering Pittman here is because. I think worst case scenario right now that happens to me is that I have to take either Breece Hall or James Conner. And honestly, the way it's looking right now, as much as I love Javonte, I still think that a lot of people would have ranked James Conner higher. And then, of course, Breece Hall has that same kind of upside of rookie stud that could break out. So I will take Javonte here because he's my dude. But
okay. If you were to pick a receiver there, who would you think you would have picked? I mean, since you kept one running back, one wide receiver.
If receiver had fallen to me, I would have taken Mike Evans. I think he's a tier above these. I'm not a huge fan of A.J. Brown. I think Hurts will be fine this year, but seeing him in the playoffs to me showed me that he's not ever going to get it done with his arm. So I'm out on A.J. Brown.
Okay. All right. We're at my pick. I kept lovely Justin Jefferson and this guy named Cam Akers.
First, we only got 50 seconds here, but Royce, never mind. That was a keeper. Keep going. Sorry.
All right. So, top of the board here, I could grab Mark Andrews, but running back is thin right now. And I am, high on Breece Hall.
Yeah, I knew you were going to go there.
Ooh.
A little bit of a reach there.
I want him to drop.
Early.
That's the only reason I'm going, I just want him to drop to me.
Yeah, there was I'd say there's a possibility that, but knowing Chris and his rookie running back love, that wasn't going to happen.
But James Conner was very intriguing there.
Okay. The fantasy footballers would have said to take James Conner, just so you know.
And I love Travis Etienne as well. But I don't think he's a second-round pick.
No.
Mike here.
Where's your head at, Mike?
I could just go chalk and take Andrews. There is a part of me.
How is Andrews there? I mean, auto pick that man.
Wow.
Honestly, I would have considered Andrews. That actually, you know what? That's a mistake I made. So that's why you mock. While you're doing a cast and mocking, my mind was distracted. But I definitely would have taken Andrews. I think I had already said in my mind that Tim took Andrews. So
I didn't think Joe was going to take Connor, so I had my eye on Connor or Brees Hall dropping to me at this point. But he said Connor.
So interesting, Sean. We're in now a 3-receiver league.
Yep.
And we're still going RB heavy here.
Yeah, I think that it'll stay that way for this year, to be honest with you. I think enough people aren't going to swing that far. But they may go through the season and see how valuable wide receivers are with a shallow bench and 3 of them starting.
And for our non-league mates watching, that's something you have to know. Tendency of your drafters in your league, it's different league to league. Where's the value in the receivers, the running backs?
That's why Javonte may not have been a bad pick for me over Andrews, just because I can now focus on the positions, knowing I have Cook and Williams.
And I think there's great depth
Leroyce,
of
what
receivers later
a
on.
steal, my man.
Got to make that
So
move.
far-
He's there.
I mean, that's the team to beat right now, in my opinion. Leroyce has Jonathan Taylor, Joe Mixon, and Mark Andrews.
Hey, can we call a timeout?
Sure.
I want a flag on the play. We know Leroyce is getting a running back there. First full round. That's chalk for him.
You never know. I don't know yet, so we'll figure that out in about 30
We need
days.
to go fix that pick.
If you had gone running back there, Leroyce, I'm curious, who would you have taken?
Probably ETN.
See, okay.
Yeah.
All right, we can unpause.
All right, we're back on the draft here. So I'm on the clock now. This is where I would look to take a wide receiver, and Tim will probably not be happy if I take the guy he wants. It's difficult.
Counting on
I
it.
would be. You said you're counting on it. So my heart wants to take Jalen Waddle, but I feel like there's so much consensus that T. Higgins is like the best shot at two top 12 wide receivers on the same team. So this is hard. This is good though. This is what the decision I probably will have to make.
What about Deontay Johnson? Didn't
Nope.
they just give him an extension?
I don't want any part of that.
Okay.
I know Tim is with me on that, but
As the
Even
resident
before
Steelers
the-
fan,
the-
yeah.
That quarterback situation
think
is
I
a
would've
no
done
go.
yeah. The noodle arm was very helpful to Deontay, and I don't think that's going to be this year.
10 seconds.
Yeah. I got to go Higgins just so I don't hurt myself in fantasy and in real fandom. So I'm curious, would you have gone Higgins or Waddle there, Tim?
I really like both of them. I think Higgins might edge him out just a little bit, just given that we know what Joe Burrow is. Tua is kind of an unknown as far as we expect him to take a leap
Both could be the wide receiver twos on their team, but
on their own team, right? But I think they both have massive upside, so I think that was kind of a wash.
But Tim,
You're looking at
according
my
to Tyreek Hill, he's the most accurate quarterback in NFL history.
So here, looking, there's a couple of things that I would consider here. We just commented I'm kind of out on Deontay here, but I'm not so sure what I feel about Travis Etienne, or however you say his name.
who knows?
Here I'm looking
I
at
don't
the best tight end on the board is Darren Waller, and I feel like that's the edge of the tier there. So he's definitely in consideration. I really like Waddle.
I'm surprised Kittle went that high, to be honest with you. I don't think he will in our draft.
Yeah. So being a tight end guy, I'm going to grab Waller here, and then going back to back.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
This is probably considered a little bit of a reach, but I like the upside here, so I'm going to go.
Oh, all right. I know you. Yeah,
Interesting.
he's a good guy to grab.
All right.
But if I have a big boom week with Devo and Mike Williams, I think I'm going to be hard to beat that week. So
Would you DJ Moore, purely the wide receiver one? Darnold and I guess Mayfield are scaring you from that pick?
yeah, we kind of know what he is at this point in my mind. You know, we always talk about the upside, but at some point, you know, that's who he is. So I would rather maybe a little bit of the boom bust from Mike Williams on a high, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that division is going to be nuts this year. So I would rather go for the high end upside over the stability of DJ Moore.
Did you get sniped there, Leroyce? You wanted another running back?
You would be correct. He almost ETN almost made it back to me.
He did.
I mean, Scary Terry's been picked there. Pittman was a keeper. DK gets picked. ETN. You got to be looking receiver.
But this is Leroyce. He ain't looking for receiver.
You don't know Leroyce.
Do I? I think we do that.
Wow.
Whoa, double tight. Oh, because it is a WT spot.
All right.
Wow, that's sneaky good. So people who don't know, our roster
is that
too tight in the start, possibly.
Yeah, there's no way that Tim will answer this truthfully, but is there any possibility that you would take a Darren Waller if he fell or a Kittle as your second tight end?
No. With receivers being so, I would say even more so needed for depth, I don't think I can afford, especially already having Kelsey.
I know who Chris is going to take here, and I'm
all right. So
mad that he fell this.
Tim is less risky than I am. That's for sure.
I'm looking to pick up a receiver here. It's no.
Now you give us the other side of Deontay because you brought him up. You must have some type of love for him.
I think you see a commitment with his contract extension. I know the quarterbacks aren't the prettiest girls in the room, you know, whatever to choose.
Trubisky did sustain Allen Robinson.
The camera's here.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm talking.
I know. But we're in the same room.
He's still going to get all the targets, in my opinion. I think Claypool's going to keep falling. But I love Jalen Waddle.
Yeah. That's the right pick.
Yeah.
That to me is a steal at 4.8.
Yep.
I mean, Chris, you got to be pretty happy. If this is how your draft started, I'm assuming on draft day you'd be very happy, man.
Little do the other guys know, this is the draft. So you snooze, you lose. If Chris likes the draft, I'm taking the co-commish powers and calling it, this is our league this year.
All right, so we get another homer pick here from Mr. Joe. Got DJ Moore.
Well, he's got to be happy about him falling to the fifth, though.
Yeah.
Homer, but the smart pick, I think.
Yeah. No, he's another guy. To me, you have Pittman, Waddle, and DJ Moore to me that I'll take any of those three. They're all kind of in the same tier for me.
Would you take in Cortland Sutton over DJ Moore?
No, I mean, the Patrick news, I think, bumps Sutton a little, but I think there's still it could be a pretty close split between Judy and I mean, there's still a possibility Judy's the one. Russell Wilson doesn't strike me as somebody who has to throw to the big-bodied guy. He had DK Metcalf, but Tyler Lockett for years was fantastic. I think Doug Baldwin and Tyler Lockett is more of a Judy, receiver than a Metcalf. Metcalf doesn't count. He's not human. So, Mike Dobbins, that looked like you waited a bit there. Was it hard to make that decision?
Well, it's
man's on the pup.
Man's on the pup. If you're in the dynasty league that we had last year, my luck when it comes to Baltimore running backs is just bad. So
not as bad as David's.
I'm using my other computer screen. I wanted to double check. Does he look like he could play before I take that?
Did you watch some Twitter shots of him at camp?
So, I was gonna have to go. I wanted to go running back there. This is my second running back's Jacobs, and just having Dobbins also buy some time. And obviously, though Jacobs is my keeper, I mean Dobbins could easily be my number two behind Chubb. So, and I already got 2 receivers in Adams and AJ Brown. So,
All right. I wanted Elijah Mitchell. I'm not going to lie. I was hoping he was coming around, but I'm going to go Cortland Sutton here.
All right. Kind of talked about that
Good
situation.
value
but-
there in the 5th.
All right, Leroyce, you have 2 running backs on your team, and it's the 5th round. I don't know if I know you
I
anymore.
know it's
And
crazy.
no wide receivers.
It's crazy. I know, man. I got that Amari Cooper auto draft there messed me up. But with our league
This
being so
wasn't-
wide receiver heavy now,
If this wasn't Leroyce, I think he would be throwing the draft right now to mess us all over.
No, Leroyce he's a straight shooter. He's not going to do that to us. And you know his draft strategy is going to change night of.
he's going really
What
fast.
was that?
What
What was that one year, Leroyce? You were like going to take somebody, and then you pivoted to Giovanni Bernard last minute or something, and we all shocked us all. I can't even remember what that was. What was that?
that was the panic year.
who
My panic year. I waited too long.
who
to
were
take
you?
that pick.
I can't remember who. Everybody thought you were going to take someone else, but I can't remember who it was.
I remember that's been a couple years ago now.
I can't remember the person.
All right, so I'm on the clock here. For wide receivers, I'm looking at Cooks as a potential. I like Judy a lot better now that Patrick's gone. I can't see taking Godwin yet, even though it's looking like he might be healthy. I got to look at the teams to go here. Yeah. This is so hard. Yeah, the wide receiver thing is for real. Like, I'm scared of getting later, but I still think running back is going to matter in this league. And although he has had a rough time, I think that I'll make Tim happier, and I won't take Miles Sanders. I'll take Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
It was a smart pick there. Because those receivers you were looking at, they won't differ too much
Yeah.
in that tier.
It's a scary pick with Clyde, but I want to kind of get my running backs and be done with them.
You can have Chris Godwin all day.
Must not be watching. No.
So there's that. Well, I'm always hesitant on the coming back from ACL world. They've just shown that the productivity goes down by a fair margin anytime you have that. So on my turn here, I'm looking for value, and I'm looking to maybe grab my guy moving forward. I think Sean was right by leaving me Miles Sanders. I'm pretty happy to get him there. And then here I'm looking for receivers that I like, and Judy being there makes it kind of tough. I'm kind of rising on A-Rob, and then I like Cooks a lot as well. And seeing how I have a little bit more of volatility, I think with my other receivers, I'm going to go for the steady Eddie Brandon Cooks here.
I think that's a smart move.
That's a great pick.
Great to pair with a Mike Williams and Debo won't disappear, but Mike Williams, I mean, there still is that percentage chance that he turns into that second half guy. Oh, A-Rob. I'm glad you took that because I did not want that on the board because that man cut me deep.
Yeah,
Can't do that.
I like
again.
that. I like that pick. I'm definitely growing on him a little bit.
So are you going receiver tight?
I am tight end. So I think that I have not really been on my guy Hawk, but when I started drafting and mocking, I've been seeing him to the 6th, and I've been a little more comfortable with it. I think that, I don't know. To me, it's just the value of him here in the 6th. That's where I would consider it. I wouldn't reach for him in the 5th, but getting my tight end out of the way feels pretty good. So,
While I let some of this time run out here, how much do you guys think what players have done to you in the past after picking them in a draft play into your draft picks year to year?
So the analyst in us would want to say it should have a very little effect on your draft, but the actual fantasy player, it matters a lot. Like,
We're human and we have feelings. Our hearts hurt when I see him or
why do you
Christian
ask that
McCaffrey.
question, Royce? Was there someone you were
Just
considering?
that Allen Robinson. I know you were Allen
Oh.
Robinson man for a couple years.
Yeah, and he did me dirty. It was rough. Me and the Bears.
Mhm.
Last year, I had a lot of stock in Miles Sanders, and that Eagles backfield last year was just more of a mess. Like, couldn't get as much going. So
The thing about that is Miles Sanders wasn't bad. He just couldn't get in. He couldn't fall in the end zone.
yeah, it's like I'd watch it on Red Zone, like, they're close. And I'm like, who's this other dude? Stop it! Come on! And it was just like, And I
Ken
had lots-
Walker's going in,
Hmm.
or not Ken Walker.
Chris, you going
Jeff
rookie
Garrett.
running back?
Is there any left on the board?
It's Ken Walker.
Ken Walker.
Oh, Ken Walker. There he is.
I know everybody's talking about him and saying that he's going to take over that job. I don't see it. As long as
But Royce,
Kenny
you
stays
took-
healthy,
You took a quarterback there in
I
Hurts.
did.
And
I took a quarterback.
is that a guy that you're hoping to get there, or do you see him as similar to the Joe Burrow and Dak Russ?
You know, I did the whole QB streaming thing last year after Russell Wilson got hurt, and I definitely want to get somebody that has that running ability as well as somebody that probably wants to show everyone that he can throw the ball as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping to get him at that spot.
Oh man, I went Damian
Drake-
Harris.
Drake
I
London
don't
and
feel
Burrow.
great.
Yeah, we need
Chris-
to talk about this, Chris. Chris, what is that pick? That's all right. We have the worst pick of the draft so far.
I felt like I needed to get a third running back. I'm looking at Tony Pollard, Cordero Patterson, Ken Walker, Kareem Hunt.
All better names than Damian Harris.
I was like, at least I know Damian is leading that backfield. Kareem Hunt, Ken Walker are the second back in that depth chart. Cordell Patterson, I can't trust it's going to happen again this year.
Yeah.
And great news with Tony Pollard playing in the slot during minicamp could make his stock rise, but I had to make that ugly pick and take Damian Harris.
All right. I don't agree with it, but
Oh,
you do you.
I don't love it either.
I just went Homer with Thielen,
Hmm.
as receiver.
We'll get you 10 touchdowns.
You gave me 10 touchdowns.
I think
you don't have a lot of yards.
he
So
probably could have waited, but although he took some Mooney and Davis, I think that's actually a really Joe's team's actually shaping up pretty good as far as he's had some value dropped to him. Getting Mooney and the turn there and DJ Moore before that. I actually really like Joe's team.
don't like this.
Ooh.
What's that, Tim?
Keeper.
Oh,
I know.
you're cutting in and out.
Like the kept Gabe, that's probably a better value.
Sorry, Tim. I think
Dark
your
side.
internet or something is going in and out.
It's the dark side. It has that effect on you. I'm
Dark
sure.
side. All right, Mike, taking Michael Thomas there. So that's got to take some faith.
Well, it's kind of like, I have reached there on Thielen and with Thomas. I know I queued him up. I was just going to go with, we got 3 receiver deep. I didn't, right now with the top quarterback's gone, I'm pushing it, top tight ends are gone, pushing it down. I didn't see another great running back I would want to take. I know Ken Walker was still on the board. But Michael Thomas, I'm taking a gamble with that. That's just purely reach there and payoff. Chris gets his
Past Ken-
Rashad Bateman.
Yeah.
That's
a good
not
pick.
hot news, Like,
I should have picked Ken Walker.
Chris,
over Damian
I-
Harris.
Yeah, you didn't have to take Bateman there. You could have left him.
I guess I wasn't getting Bateman either way.
I love the Bateman there in the 7th round.
That's good value, I'd say.
but
Trying
I
to
just
make up
want
for
to
my
did not
6th
take
round
up
value.
Ken Walker, Chris.
I'm not a huge fan of Bateman, but I do think there in the 7th, that's fine.
Tim, could you critique my 6th round pick there? Who would you thought I
We're
should
still
have
on
picked?
this. We're going to spend the rest of the podcast talking about this.
This
Damian
is
Harris.
the Damian. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
All right. So this is the Damian Harris pick that we didn't like so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like Damian Harris much. I've heard reports of Ramondre being the guy in New England with the ones already. So that makes me a little bit nervous moving forward for Damian Harris and how volatile that backfield is to start. I felt like you reached a bit and felt like you had to grab a running back because it's what your team wanted versus grabbing the value that was in front of you. And even then, I liked Kareem Hunt a little bit better as the pass catcher there in Cleveland. You kind of know what he is. He seems a pretty reliable receiver too type person. So, and I'm a little higher, I think, on Rashad Penny than some of these other guys. I like Chase Edmonds. I actually like Devin Singletary. I know people are kind of turned off on him, but he had a great end of the season. So, I think some of those options are a little bit better than a split backfield running back who doesn't catch the ball. So that's where I was at.
So I'm up here, and I think this is my toughest pick yet in the draft. I really think I need to take a wide receiver here, but I hate what's on the board right now.
Would you consider Hopkins?
So we took him in our Scott Fish Bowl, and I do like taking him, but I would rather have another wide receiver before I made that leap. 7th round to me feels just too early. Devonta Smith, again, same thing for AJ Brown. I like the talent, but I don't believe in that passing offense until I see it from Hurts. Yeah. So as much as I think I really want to take wide receiver here, I think there's too much value at running back still. Kind of makes me second guess if I should have taken Clyde there, and then maybe taken a wide receiver like a Cooks, or Amon-Ra St. Brown at that point. But I think I am going to go running back, and
Chase
I'm
Edmonds.
going to take Rashad Penny.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. I like that pick. The fact that this man stayed healthy after all the work that they gave him last year.
Yeah, and Pete
Yeah,
Carroll's
yeah.
not just going to give the job to Ken Walker. So
I like Rashad Penny there. Here on the turn again, I only have 2 running backs, and that makes me a little bit uncomfortable. I like Chase Edmonds a lot. James Cook sounds positive, and then we already talked about Ramondre in that New England backfield. So I think getting Chase Edmonds here is a good value for somebody
No.
that should at least get a fair amount of passing work at the very least. And then looking at some of the other things available, getting Hop there is awfully tempting. The other one I was really looking at and evaluating was Devonta Smith. I like him, but also having Miles Sanders turns me off a little bit on that. And then the other receiver that I kind of like here is Brandon Ayuk, but having Debo already, again, makes me a little less interested.
any thought to Tyler Lockett? I know at times you've been in on Lockett, but
Yeah, I
obviously
have.
using Russell Wilson hurts,
I went big boom games with Mike Williams. I can't imagine a scenario in which I would want them both starting for me. So I'm going to go for value here. I'm going to soak up DeAndre Hopkins coming back in.
I like it. I think you can afford to with that. Like I said, having the 3 wide receivers already, I think gives you that opportunity. Pick up depth later, and then
He was queued up. D-Hop was
I mean, the only problem is that on a 5-person bench, that may be a little more difficult to stomach for those 6 weeks.
For sure.
All right, I'm back on the clock here, and I had hoped that a quarterback would fall to me, and I kind of had hoped the decision was made for me. I was deciding between Dak and Russell, but it wasn't, so I got to make the decision myself, and I'm going to take Russell Wilson here. I think that he is allowed to cook in Denver.
So seeing as I only have 2 wide receivers currently in our 3 wide receiver league,
I'm there with you there, my man.
it seems
You got
like
2. You have just as many tight ends as you do wide receivers.
That's right.
The bigger problem is you still only have 2 running backs. I don't know this, Leroyce.
I know. I know. Look, I'm
Sorry.
hoping for Jonathan.
He's going to
Taylor
trade
and,
for them all, or
right.
that, or his last 6 rounds are going to be running backs.
Right. Look, I'm hoping for Jonathan Taylor and Mixon to carry me like they did last year.
That's true. I guess if you have those two, you don't need much depth behind them as long as they don't get hurt.
Yeah. So looking at this wide receiver board here, I mean, there's a lot of places you can go. I haven't been keeping up on the Devontae Smith injury or whatever he's questionable for, but if I get Jalen Hurts, I'd like to have a stack. So we'll do.
That's a great pick, Leroyce. I think that's a great way to go. I don't even like Devontae Smith that much, but I think it's a good way. All right, Chris, after your tilt from Damian Harris, do you go running back again to try to make up for that? Or are you considering one of the onesie positions in tight end or quarterback?
See, I would be tempted to make up my 6th-round folly, but I would only correct it by getting the other guy in New England based off the board. Not doing that.
Not doing that.
So I'm going to get the touchdown boy, Dawson Knox. That's
wow.
all he does.
All right.
Buffalo.
Did not see that coming. My co-host is surprising me here. Damian Harris and Dawson Knox.
I love Knox way more than Harris.
All right. At the end of this round, after Joe picks, I'm going to pause the draft and we'll do a little bit of evaluation of who's had the best draft so far and maybe talk a little bit about what to do with the rest of the draft. What's going on in that head of yours, Mike?
I like this guy. I think he's going to be a good PPR machine. I'm going with my boy Hunter Renfrow.
There he is. All right, and we'll let Joe make those picks, but we can go ahead and start talking about it.
Did you consider that you also have Devontae Adams there, or was that an oversight?
Well,
sounds like an oversight to me.
A little oversight, but look at the board. I just like Renfrow, but yeah.
It's hard to remember that Adams is a Raider.
So we're gonna.
Sleeper
especially
get a green jersey. So
yeah.
All right, I've got the draft pause here. I'm going to start at the bottom, and we'll start with Leroyce. Go ahead and give us, besides your wonderful team that you've made, what other team do you think is looking good?
Well, let me take a look here. She zoomed out, but so come back to me. Come back to me. I need to look at everybody's team first.
All right, Chris, go ahead and give us something.
All right, so if I'm looking here early in the draft with how the picks have fallen, I love your team, Sean, 1 through 4. Kind of hard to disagree with that. I'll take a look over. Leroyce, I loved your first 3 picks. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around the WT spot, but Schultz is actually really, really good too. He is the second option in Dallas. So that's could be sneaky good as well. But I'm worried that he's not going to get the receptions you need to fill that spot. You could have got a Waddle, right, that I took 2 picks later. And who's team 3 again? Is that the Meat Prince?
Yeah, we don't have I meant more of like people that have actually drafted. So,
okay.
All right. Well, I asked for 1 team and you gave me 2. So we're moving on from the man who doesn't know how to follow directions. And now it's Leroyce. You got it ready now?
Got to switch back to the screen. Yeah. So I like Tim's team. Looking at those first 3 picks, that Waller and Debo. I mean, you got a lot of receptions going on there, and of course, you know, Najee is going to be the guy. So he's and then Mike Williams is he used to be an unknown, but now he's like the man for the Chargers. So, and I like the thought of he already has those 3 wide receivers, and then you know Hopkins is going to come back, and I mean I don't know the guy personally, but I'm sure he's going to want to show out after having missed 6 games. So. And then he's got a dual threat quarterback in the 9th round that everybody's high on him doing well this year. So he's got the stat too. So I like Tim's team.
All right, what about you, Mike?
I was gonna pick Tim's team just because he had the D Hop, but we already talked about that. I like how his team's just built really well right now. I'll pick my lesser half. I'll talk about Chris's. Chris, you got a lot of hope in some young running backs and a question in New England, but your receivers, you'd be excited to see what Waddle does by having Hill there with him. Does it open up? Does it take some stuff away? Sutton, man, I'm hoping he bounces back and plays really well. But your team looks pretty solid. But I was going to probably say exactly what Leroy said about Tim's team.
All right, Tim.
Looking at it, I do like Daniel's team. Say what you will about David Montgomery. I think people are overlooking him a little bit. I think that Bears offense is going to be not very good, but the volume that David Montgomery is going to see is going to be good. And I really like his receivers. I think Tyreek will still be a top 10 option. McLaurin, if he can connect things with Carson, is a value there. I think he's proven that he's a above average receiver. Makes me a little bit nervous with Chris Godwin coming back from an ACL, but pairing him with Tom Brady is a really healthy stack. And then I think Melvin Gordon in the 8th, he's going to see some volume.
To continue to be the bane of my existence, Daniel has to take my.
Well, yep. And if something does happen, that's going to be one of the best handcuffs of the season, I think.
Yeah.
As far as a valuable RB2 with massive upside if there's injury ahead of him. So,
all right, and then I think my favorite team I mentioned earlier, I like Joe's. I really like having the running backs. There's a little bit of question marks with whether or not James Conner can hold up. Antonio Gibson is a very polarizing player. A lot of people are more down on him, but getting him in the 4th, I think, bakes in that risk. And then of course I think he has, best at the position. He's got Christian McCaffrey, Josh Allen, easy, great chance to finish number 1 in their spots. And then I think he followed it up really well with these wide receivers of DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, and Gabe Davis, 3 guys I really love. Tight end, Zach Ertz, probably the last tight end that I want if I'm not waiting until my last round. So I think he's done really well so far. Sorry to keep it paused so long for you there, Joe, but you're back on the clock, my man. Go ahead and take your next pick. Let's talk while he takes his pick. Anybody have any thoughts on rest of the draft, what they're kind of looking at strategy wise? If this starts to play into the
good pick, Joe.
Having only 5 bench spots, you really have to really think about how you're going to fill those 5. Does anybody have strategies that they're thinking about here?
So I know personally with the keeper changes that we're looking at, I'm looking for really high upside wide receivers, younger guys that have a potential to boom. And so that's kind of where I'm considering things, people that, like I said, just higher upside people that have room for growth, that where maybe their draft capital gets bumped up the next year. Same thing with young rookie running backs in questionable situations where we kind of want to see how that situation sorts out.
And I actually haven't taken that into consideration at all so far. So that's interesting. I think, has anybody else, maybe it's just because we've forgotten, or maybe it was a conscious decision, but I, up to this point, have not thought, okay, I'm drafting this guy with the potential of next year's keeper value. I think
you're trying to win it in the first 6 rounds, right? I mean, that's where the bulk of your draft is. But some of these later rounds that you really are swinging for the fences on, especially in a keeper league, I think it's premature to try to draft for a keeper league that early in.
Mike listens to your advice and takes James Cook.
That's what I was
going to do. Guys, I had him queued up, and then once Tim said it, to make up for my error for overlooking Renfro with Adams. Thanks for calling me out on that, Tim. I love Renfro, but I forgot.
And Josh Jacobs.
First pick, right?
So Chris is in a bad spot here. He had James Cook taken, and then Team 4 auto-picked 2 quarterbacks in case he was considering Dak Prescott.
I know, right? I mean, this sleeper app.
I mean, nobody in our league is going to take a second quarterback.
And that's what I was going to say about the bench spots. I think it makes it so that you almost cannot take
Can't really afford.
two tight ends or two. I mean, the tight ends because we have the flex spot now. As I'm saying this, Leroyce is like, oh,
Well, don't
just
poo
wait.
on Royce's strategy. Okay.
But especially the quarterback, I think you can only draft one this year. I don't see how you could draft two with that limited amount of bench spots and only one place to put them in.
So I want Stafford there.
Stafford over Rodgers. Okay.
Huh.
Just because Allen Robinson and Cooper Cup.
All right.
I trust the targets that he's throwing to.
He's got a little
All right.
mini stack there with Akers too.
What's your thought here,
Yeah.
Leroyce?
So, of course, I'm still hurting for wide receivers because, I went Elijah Moore in the 7th. So,
There's some good ones on the board.
A little early there. But I'm looking the Green Bay way, and he has a lot of chemistry
The
with this guy
Lazard
already.
King.
So,
Mike, could you mute the draft there? Actually, that's me.
That's you.
Why is that still? I don't know why that came on. All right, so we're to me now. Yeah, that's a couple wide receivers in a row there that I would definitely have considered in Lazard, Sky Moore, and Ayuk. They were definitely some guys that I was hoping would fall. I did not want to be looking at Robert Woods and Chase Claypool at the top of my board here. What this draft has shown me is that I probably need to prioritize the wide receiver a little earlier. That was kind of my thought going into it, but the board just fell so that I guess I'm learning that I can't be tempted by these running backs that have value later because
You don't like Damian Harris?
no, that's why I didn't take Damian Harris.
Hey, Mike, in the draft, if I draft Damian Harris in the real draft, you have full permission to slap me across the face.
So I'm going to take, I think, probably my last.
That's you, and that's about it.
I'm going to take my last running back here in the 9th round and then just probably focus on wide receiver because I'm scared that Tim will take him.
Don't take him.
So I'm going to take Isaiah Spiller because I feel like he could be a great value next
Didn't
year.
take him.
That's definitely one of those late round running backs that I have my eye on for sure. All right, so looking here, obviously I took Trey Lance there, which again I think that value is really good because normally I think he'd go a little bit earlier.
I was in
so
a
if that was
best
an
ball and he
option,
went in the 2nd round, Tim.
that's uncomfortable. So looking at my receiver options here, I like Robert Woods. I don't like athletes coming off of an ACL. That could be the PT background of me. I like the upside of Chase Claypool. I don't like him as a person or as a receiver. So looking to root for him is tough. So I'm going to take another high upside guy that I think could be a good value.
That's who I wanted this round.
Yeah, Tony's a great pick.
I had
Dang
it queued up, man.
I probably would have taken Woods there if Daniel didn't.
Tim.
So this is where I'm at the Tim conundrum here, where I'm not a Steelers fan, but I do not like Chase Claypool. But I mean, the 10th round with a guy that
great
big,
value
with that much touchdown upside, I feel like I can't let this guy pass. So as much as I don't think I've ever taken Chase Claypool in a mock that I've done, so this will be the first.
Ooh, that's good.
What's your guys' thought on Gage? Is he just dead to you now? Because he used to be a guy that I would easily have taken.
Man, I'll be honest. I would have taken Gage there at the 10-1 or whatever, the 9-12, whatever is available to me. I really liked him, and then they signed Julio. And for whatever reason, that just took the wind out of the sails for Gage for me.
Mm-hmm. All right, Leroyce, do you finally take a third running back at this point? He's talking, but we can't hear him.
It's the mustache getting in the way.
The mustache in the way.
So, looking here at my second.
This man's focused. Can't even.
Too focused. Can't even utter a sentence. Ooh, Josiah jumping in
So
there.
our one of our biggest fans here, Josiah. He's got the analysis that Robert Woods is going to be very underdrafted this
Yeah,
year.
I'm having some computer issues right now.
Oh, auto pick coming up.
Here, I'll pause it for
Oh.
you. I don't want that to. I don't want to see that happen. You good to go, Leroyce? I can't hear him. Thumbs up if you're good to go. All right. 6 seconds. Go. All right, Michael Carter. Hopefully that's who he wanted. I think that's an interesting one. All right, Mr. Coach.
I'm going to go with the rookie running back in Houston that might get the workload back half of the season.
All right.
And Damian Pierce.
Yeah, you got to take a rookie here. I don't hate that pick. Mike, could you mute Leroyce? I think something's going on with his sound. It's kind of staticking in my ear. I think it's Leroyce.
He's muted.
There we go. Oh. Nope, somebody else.
It's Taj.
It's not-
It's the Taj.
I love how Tim's all blacked out.
I know.
It's just his face.
It's just the
floating.
persona of the Sith Lord himself. All right. Go ahead and talk us through here, Mike.
So I'm gonna reach for the sake
For
of reaching
quarterback?
here. No.
Okay.
Not this moment.
If I'm him, I'd wait at this point, although the auto drafters could hurt him.
That's the
That's
other
what I
thing.
was expecting.
Someone's going to take a third running back in this auto draft, probably. Being here in Indiana, nothing more is being spoken about in the local radio other than everybody watching Colts practice about how much Naeem
Hines, yeah.
ball, slot, even two-back systems, putting him out wide. They're trying to get this guy the ball a whole lot. So Naeem Hines.
Now, Sean, do you think that takes away from Jonathan Taylor's value?
I don't think so. He wasn't a huge reception guy. Now that may change with. I mean, you may have some hopes that with Matt Ryan at the helm, there's more dump offs to be had. But I think it maybe just takes away from his potential of being like on the Christian McCaffrey level, not from being what he was last year.
Okay.
It was all touchdowns, man. That dude got to the goal line and just got in every time. So I see that Tim has pulled out the PlayStation controller. So
Tim, I took you off of mute, so you can.
I can respond.
oh, he sounds like a Sith Lord over there. Just mute him, and then we'll. If I call on him, we'll get him out.
All right.
Off mute.
Look where Joe went.
Something with his AirPods are going. So a second, what is with you guys and these two tight ends? All right, this tight end flex spot might be coming into play. I wonder if that's based on the news of Patrick getting. I don't even want to. Alberto, that's how I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
I like the Algier pick, though. As we've already said, the rookie running backs could be the great keeper value. For those of you not in our league, we made some rule changes, and next year we'll be doing keepers based on where they're drafted this year, and you'll basically keep them a few rounds ahead of where you drafted them, or at their ADP. So,
Mike, talk us through your thoughts. Quarterback, tight end.
Quarterback, tight end. Kind of right now, my draft strategy is I'm still going to punt quarterback and tight end.
take him with your last two picks.
Pretty much. So I'm going to take James Robinson here this late. And
I don't hate that, actually. I thought about him in the last round, to be honest with you, but I couldn't take another running back. Oh, and there's Team 3 taking your quarterback.
and that's who I was waiting for on the other way to come down. I would have taken Cousins, stack him with Thielen.
Yeah. Everybody else in our league has a quarterback. So, yeah, I think he's the guy to take when you wait. So, all right, Mr. Coach.
All right. I am going to go with a second tight end here.
What are you doing?
That WT thing, I love it. And Cole Kmet is my boy. Taking him right here.
Alrighty.
Can you
Means
guys
Leroyce
hear me?
can't. Leroyce was maybe thinking about taking his third tight end. We can
Can
hear
you
you
guys
loud
hear
and
me?
clear, Leroyce.
Okay, good. I don't know what my internet was doing. No, I wanted the Ronald Jones, but of course, he got auto picked. But
He almost came back to you.
he did almost come back to me. It's real sparse at this point in the draft, but I think we're gonna go ahead and pick this other tight end. No, stop. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nobody take him. Nobody take him. Yes. All right. So my guy fell to me. I almost took this player over Claypool, and that is Mr. MVS. Could be wide receiver 1. Could be the new Tyreek Hill. That's not going to happen, but he could be 70% Tyreek Hill.
In the
And I'm
11th
taking-
round.
Yeah, that to me is great value. But feeling that my twin who has the same takes that I do, Tim, agrees. All right, so Turts McGurts.
Turtle,
Mine's unmuted.
You're not muted now, but you still sound like you're
Yeah,
growling.
bummer.
All right, go ahead, Tim.
I don't know why it sounded that way, but yeah, I like your take on MBS there. I think that's a great last stash for the end of the round. So, am I still sound terrible?
You still sound really terrible, but it's funny because you're like the
Yeah.
Sith Lord.
Well, I have too many receivers, so I have to go running back here. Let's see
I
what I
appreciate
can.
you letting some wide receivers fall to me. All right, go
Say
ahead.
what you will.
Marlon Mack.
It's not going to be a very popular pick there, but
All right, go ahead and mute Tim, and I'll talk about his picks.
Marlon Mack is affected.
Yeah, I think that does affect Marlon Mack, to be honest with you guys. And then his homer pick of George Pickens, which is a great pick actually, because talking about that value of next year's keeping, if there's now there will be probably Claypool and Deontay, but I still think Pickens can get himself a role in this offense. And I think Tim's gonna hop off, or is he just agreeing with my take? All right, so I am on the clock now, and I'm still going to just keep pounding these wide receivers, try to make up for waiting so long to take my depth there. And with all this stuff going on with Mr. Hollywood Brown, Rondale Moore is enticing here. Dotson's interesting as another rookie kind of pick. I would have loved to have taken Tim Patrick. This is where, if I can get him at this point, I'm just ecstatic. Tyler Boyd is just gross to me. I don't want to do that. I have Higgins. I can't go back to the Kenny Golladay as I'm sure Chris can't either.
I'm never going back.
So, again, we talk about this upside thing. I think that I'm going to
Don't
it's
take
between Rondale Moore and Dotson to me, to be honest
okay.
with you.
It's not my guy.
It's not your guy. If I had reached down there to take I don't even know who you want, but 5 seconds, I will take. I'm going to go the
Rondale
rookie.
Moore.
I'm going to go Dotson.
Oh, Dotson. I don't mind the Dotson pick at all. Tyler Boyd still has value at the 12th round, I think.
I think he does, but I have Higgins, so it wasn't really an option for me. It really, that shows me that my options have kind of been taken away. With Tim Patrick was really that late guy that I loved getting at the last 2 rounds. And Van Jefferson was another one, but with his injury, can't do that. Royce went the Kenny G route.
I'm hoping
music.
he plays
Cue the
plays
Kenny
like he got all that money.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad pick. He's just another one of those burns. I don't know if I can handle it again. Team 6 with Darrell Henderson here. I actually think that's a fantastic pick at 12 because we all know
I
Cam
thought about
Akers is not going to be the starting running back. Or sorry, they're both
They're
RB1s.
Hate that so much. I am gonna go with a rookie here. You think you know where I'm going, Sean?
You gonna tell me running back or wide receiver? Or, I think
Wide
you're going wide
receiver.
receiver. I think you're gonna go with Alex
Watson?
Pierce.
Jalen Tolbert.
Tolbert, okay.
They need a wide receiver too in Dallas,
Yep.
and
Washington's
I
hurt.
like it.
Gallup's hurt.
I know it's a reach. Thank you, sleeper.
I'm gonna tell you.
Just, wow.
That's what I was telling you. They sound effects be ridiculous. Rondale Moore for Team 3. That's a great pick.
All right, I'm going.
DJ Chark in Detroit. I forgot about that.
Chris, I'm going to take a tight end. Who do you think I'm going to take?
Ooh.
I would have said Irv Smith, but that thumb's got to be rough to. He may not even start the season.
I say Hayden Hurst in Cincinnati.
I'm just going to, for the fun of it, I'm going to try taking Brevin Jordan.
Oh,
Houston.
Jake
Taking that from
Sears
our
will-
last
yeah.
mock draft when the other two
Chris
guys were
Meany.
high on him. Yeah, Meany
Yeah.
was on him. So I was like,
Meany
all right.
loves him.
He was the guy that I'd wish we were able to get in our Scott Fish Bowl. When we were Gerald Everett. Josiah says go for Gerald Everett. See if someone does it for their tight end too, but I'm not me.
No, I
I
got
have a guy that I definitely want to fall to me, but I don't know if he's going to make it.
I have to go quarterback in my next pick.
That's good. Glad you're not.
You're trying to make up for that second round Mahomes.
How about some Tua?
Tua action there. I like Trevor Lawrence actually for Mike.
Trevor Lawrence. And are we going to
Lawrence is my cue. He's queued up for me to take. That's who I want to go with.
Hey
I
Joe,
won't-
if you're listening, just take him.
just for the fun last pick?
Don't do it, Joe. Don't do it to me, Joe.
That's okay. So that to me is one of the best picks so far.
Brian Robinson.
Brian Robinson. He is. If I was taking shots here later at running back, I think that's a great pick.
Look, I mean, Joe's picks late with Algier and Robinson, those rookie
Yeah.
running backs.
Daubs.
Another good one. He's been looking at some camp reports here.
Yeah, I tried to
Mm-hmm.
hit him up in Dynasty with my Aaron Rodgers and see if I could get him. He said
He was already taken.
he's
right?
waiting on him. No, he drafted him. I wanted to draft him, but I wasn't
Oh.
in the draft. He was the guy I was trying to get back into the draft for. And I hit him up then and now, and he's like, nope, I'm going to wait and see what happens.
Who
All right, last pick.
I'd say.
Do you feel like you have flexibility here, or is there a position you feel like you have to hit?
I got flexibility with 5 bench places. I have running backs kind of thin, but I'll be putting a lot of my receivers in the starting lineup. So
This is where you take maybe, at least for me, I'm not taking running back, so Raheem Mostert's interesting to me. If you want just something to plug along, well, looks like the suspension's less likely, so Mark Ingram's not as enticing anymore. Darrell Williams is interesting. Zamir White. Jacobs has gotten bad camp reports.
See, I really like Zamir White, but it's a wasted bench spot in here.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, but you may know week 1. That's why he'd be somebody I'd be interested in.
you read my mind. Stop saying "wow, sleeper" into my ear.
All right, Leroyce, last pick.
I'm gonna go with a. This is always risky, but I'm gonna go with the New England wide receiver.
No.
Jacoby.
Yeah, Jacoby.
Oh, no, actually, I wanted Devontae Parker, but he went the next pick.
Yeah.
Morgan
Well,
stole him from me. even though
Jacoby
he's not here.
Myers will get you catches in between the 20s, but then after
That's
that,
right.
All right, so this is where I did not want to be because I didn't want to choose between. Yeah, McCole Hardman would probably be my pick here. KJ Osborne is actually interesting to me with their Smith injury, but I can't quit this guy. I love him. I would, even though he's on a team that I don't want to succeed, I think that
Mm-hmm.
the value could be here if he has a resurgent and Thomas Brady decides to play another year next year. Could be an amazing keeper value. And I'm going to take Julio.
Reunite. Reunite with him.
And I hope
Can't quit him.
I hope for Julio's sake, as much as I don't want Tom Brady to throw a lot of touchdowns, if he can have a year where he has a bunch of touchdowns, I would be very happy for the man Julio Jones, who's been deprived of touchdowns his entire career.
Hey,
Come on,
your boy
especially
Daniel
Tua.
took Tua.
Please grade our drafts. All right. Tua. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's not a bad pick. Like I said, I don't think you should have a second quarterback, but if week 1 Tua goes off and that offense looks insane and he has Tom Brady, then you could have some trade bait there rather than, because we're looking at some.
Sean, it's Miami. The offense isn't going to go off. It's Miami. Come on. You know it's gonna be bad.
I know.
Mike Daniels.
Yeah, Mike
You
McDaniel.
like my game.
No less. All right, last pick of the draft is the Taj, the champion. I'm curious to see where he goes here. I don't even know who I would pick here.
He's probably gonna go with your Hartman.
Probably a rookie, like Alec
Yeah,
Pierce,
Pierce.
Ty Davis Price.
Rob Gronkowski.
No, he might look tight end.
I don't think he will.
Tonyan.
Well, he's about to be an auto pick, so I guess that's what happened. And Deshaun Watson was drafted. No, Gus Edwards, probably the last person he would draft. He definitely would not draft him.
He would not take him.
So let's go ahead and apparently Daniel wants a grade. So
For the guys that drafted.
yes. Daniel, do you want this to be graded by the coach and the commish, or do you want to keep our special guests in here? See how much Daniel cares about you guys.
kind of put him on the spot.
Hey, I'm gonna hop off.
All right.
I appreciate.
See you, Leroy. I appreciate you jumping on.
Absolutely, man.
I don't know if I
Anytime.
can believe anything you did, but
I don't at all.
you're a
Believe
wild
it.
card anyways. So,
Indeed, as always. All right, guys.
all right.
Catch you guys later.
Have a good night.
See ya.
All right. So yeah, Mike, I think me and Chris will just handle this then. Chris, I will let you go ahead and go first, and we will go Actually, I'll go first, and I'll go ahead and do Joe. That way you can go. So for me, starting with Joe's team, I've already talked about his first, 8 picks. I love that he's going to be able to get James Conner in the third. I don't love Josh Allen in the second, but it's better than, it's at least it's the last pick of the second. I think James Conner kind of makes up for that because I probably would have taken James Conner in the second. Love his wide receiving core. Again, we took some great picks at the end with Tyler Algier, Brian Robinson, and I don't know if Dubs to me is, again, it's the last pick, so I'm not going to bash that pick at all. Christian Kirk is a huge value to me in the 9th round. I think he's being very undervalued. So overall grade, I'm going to give this. I think this is an A. I'm not quite to the A+, but I think that's an A. That's probably my favorite team in here.
I agree with you. I like his team a lot.
All right, give Mike the business.
Mike,
He might mute you, but
your first 5 picks, I like. 2 keepers were Chubb and Jacobs. The receivers I love in A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams. You got yourself a stud with your first pick. I don't think his numbers would drop dramatically from Green Bay to Vegas. I mean, it was pretty out of this world with Aaron Rodgers, but he's still going to be a primo wide receiver 1. Then you went with some age guys with Thielen and Thomas. Michael Thomas, he hasn't played ball in, 3 years?
yeah.
So it is a wild card, but why not, roll the dice there? You passed up on Bateman, who I thought you probably should have got her Juju instead of Michael Thomas. Thielen will give you 10 touchdowns, but he's entering that 30-year-old plus receiver range where some wideouts starts to decline dramatically. And then the back end, I like your strategy of punting on tight end quarterback. Now, these 2 quarterback drafts here on Sleeper really mess up strategies. But going that route, you can get Trevor Lawrence or higher. I like it. Brevin Jordan's a sneaky pick.
All right, give it a grade, my man.
I give it a B, a solid B, not a B plus, but a B.
I'd probably be at about a C plus. So
Right.
I think it's a little worse than your loving brother.
I hate
right.
Sean. Okay, bye.
Should have muted me. All right. Now on to Chris here. Starting with Jefferson at the 5. This is actually pretty interesting because that's probably where you could get him in a regular draft. Brees Hall, that's a little bit of a reach for me. I probably would have gone the James Conner route. But, I know you love your rookies. To me, it's a lot of risk to have Brees Hall and Cam Akers. I might have gone for some more stability with James Conner. But
I agree.
I don't absolutely hate that pick. Waddle and Sutton back to back to me that was your bread and butter picks. Absolutely.
Skip the 6.
Yeah. And then
Just
worst
skip
pick
it.
of the entire draft, even for auto drafters who took 2 quarterbacks, Damian Harris in the 6th.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have taken him in the 8th, and he took him in the 6th. Guys, you should have taken Kareem Hunt to me easily. Ken Walker is probably the guy you wish you took.
Yeah.
Rashad Bateman, again, I'm not as big of a fan as you are, but in the 7th, I love that pick. I probably would have taken him with my pick if you didn't. Dawson Knox, yep, he's in that range of probably one of the last tight ends I would be wanting to have on my team. Matthew Stafford, sucks to not get Dak Prescott there. I think that's a way better option than Stafford, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I can, with the options for Rodgers right now. Does the elbow fatigue scare you at all? I mean, I'll give you a grade here in a second, but
No, I think the options scare me. The wide receiver options scare me.
I'm sorry, Stafford. There's been news that came out that Stafford is
I know he's
having some.
taking a week off.
Yeah.
It doesn't scare me as much.
Yeah, I think it's just more of a maintenance thing. I think it's one of those mountain out of a molehill type of situations. Like your last 2 picks, tight end is great, Dameon Pierce. So I'll give you that B that you gave your brother.
Okay, I thought you were definitely going with a C because that 6th-round pick deserved an F.
I mean, if that 6th round pick wasn't in there, you'd be a solid B plus. But it was a whole, in of itself, it was a whole, half a point.
All right, you take Leroyce here so I can get you.
All right, I'll
After
keep
that.
talking Leroyce. I mean, starting the draft out with Jonathan Taylor and Joe Mixon is just unfair. I don't know if I would have gone the route of you and drafted 2 tight ends to follow that up. I think with the value of Mark Andrews, you had to take him there. Up until that point, I would have been thinking pound that wide receiver, get a Mike Evans, get a T. Higgins, get a Mike Williams, any of those. But again, that value. Schultz is where I think it kind of hurt your team with your Marquise Brown being your wide receiver 1, which isn't a bad first wide receiver because of the way the season will start. But I think after those 6 games, you could be kind of in trouble. But the trade master, I'm sure, will find a way to get out of that. So
You will.
Dalton Schultz, I would have had probably TJ Hawkinson ahead of him. That's why I took him in the 6th. So that's probably my least favorite pick you made. As much as I'm not a huge Jalen Hurts fan for his options, who he's throwing to, his throwing game, man's going to run. And now he does have another huge option at passing. So I don't mind that in the 6th. I think it's good value. Elijah Moore, I think he's being undervalued. Good pick. Devontae Smith, I don't like him as much, but in the 8th, I'm okay with. Alan Lazard, I think Carter was your auto pick. You probably would have taken Ronald Jones. Either way, later in the draft, not mattering as much. And then finishing it up with Landry, Galladay. Those are 2 kind of has-beens who you could see some value out of. Landry more of as a possession receiver, and then hoping somehow Galladay gets back to full form. And then last pick in Jacoby Myers, I would have taken a Devontae Parker over him because I think we know what Jacoby Myers is. But not last round of the draft, I'm not going to bash anybody for who they pick. I give you because you have those first 3 picks, that doesn't really matter what the rest of your team is, in my opinion, because those are just
Solid.
freaking home runs at their ADPs. So I'm going to give you a B plus.
I would have bumped it an A without the Schultz right behind Andrews.
Yeah, that's where I'm at for sure. If you had taken Waddle there, that's an A plus.
Been
To
amazing.
me. You might have had the best team in the league.
All right, so Sean, F. No, I'm just kidding. I love your first 4 picks. Right when you got around the T. Higgins spot, you could have made an argument for Mike Williams, Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, Jalen Waddle. But that offense and what Higgins showed in the last half of the year, good pick at 3rd. Then what I really love is Rashad Penny at 7. Now, some idiot picked a guy in the 6th and kind of messed it up, but that's a phenomenal value. That's a guy that's probably be a flex start immediately. And then Hawkinson in the 6th. I know he's your boy. And Russell Wilson in the 8th. I like him. And you probably could have waited a little more, but this sleeper app throws a QB value off. So
He wouldn't have made it back to me.
You don't think so?
No, I mean, you can see here coming back around, Dak, Stafford, Rodgers went. You would have taken him probably at that.
Honestly, my thing was getting a quarterback 10th round or later with some of the value.
But you just
it probably
saw the
would have been a
run.
Stafford.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then after Spiller, great late part of the season pick. That could be an MVP win. And then the receivers, I'm not going to hate it. They're all guys who can make jumps, but
Dart throws to
Yeah.
be my.
I would give you a solid A-.
A minus.
A-.
I will take it. I will definitely take it. Yeah. So if I could, read you anything, I would have probably not taken Clyde Edwards-Helaire and reached for as much as Brandon Cooks is such a vanilla pick, but if you want a guy is going to get a ton of targets, be 1,000 yards, you can't go wrong with the guy. So maybe him, Judy, or Amon-Ra. I might like that better than having a Clyde Edwards there and then, taking another late round running back, taking a Dameon Pierce or somebody. So that's really the only change I would have made to my draft.
You wouldn't have changed CEH and Miles Sanders?
That's more of, yeah, I think the upside is higher for Clyde Edwards-Helaire to where he could, completely dominate and be a top 5 back is actually possible. Where Sanders, I think, his ceiling is probably more like top 12.
And I'm not going to hate CEH in the 5th because right after him, starting running backs take a drop.
Yeah. So I would have preferred to be in a situation where I didn't have to do that, and I could have, maybe traded a pick, but we won't get into that. So I will take my A- and move on to Daniel. And Daniel, his first actual pick, Tyreek, after getting Eckler at a great value at 111. Tyreek, to me, in the 2nd is a bad pick. I don't like it. I understand the upside. I'm a Dolphins fan. I know he's an extreme, athlete that there's no one like him in the league, but I think that Waddle is going to soak up enough targets to where he just cannot be what he was in Kansas City. Not to mention Tua is not Patrick Mahomes, no matter what Tyreek Hill says.
Now, the flow of this draft, A.J. Brown or Tyreek Hill would have been the receiver pick that he would have had to think through.
Yeah, because Chase and Diggs were kept. So, I mean, honestly, I would have probably just taken another running back there and then hit wide receiver the rest of the draft. Andrews was on the board there. I think that would have been a fantastic pick. Going back to my Javonte, actually, that was the other thing. I probably would have taken Andrews if I had thought about it. But all right, so anyways, moving on. I love the value of Montgomery as your 3rd. I think that's a good. Terry McLaurin, Godwin, and Al Robinson. Those are 3 receivers that last year would have been amazing picks. This year, you're kind of hoping they return to their glory, and I'm a little scared on all 3. Tom Brady, can't hate that pick. With Julio's arrival, I think he's much safer now. That kind of shoring up that wide receiver core, even if Godwin's not ready. So I'm good with that. Melvin Gordon in the 8th, as much as I hate that you took that from me, I love that pick. I think
he took 2 handcuffs.
Freiermuth, don't mind that as your tight end in the 9th. Robert Woods kind of sniped them for me. I probably would have taken over Claypool. Always have to take my Madison, which I'm okay with. You'll eventually drop him, and then he'll be mine right before the playoffs. And then Khalil Herbert, Tua, that's fine to end the draft. The Tyreek thing I think really hurt me for this one. Your receivers are not guys that I'm on, so I think it's going to hurt my draft grade. I think another analyst probably would give you the roster construction and the way you did it. I don't mind. I just don't like specifically some of these guys that you took. So I would probably give it a C+.
C+.
Sorry, my man.
It does come down to the receiver value there. You're right. Going to the champ, the dark side himself, the Sith Lord.
His experimental draft here with a keeper that he can't keep.
Yeah. So Najee Harris and Trey Lance being his keeper really opened him up, but he had to go reach for his guys on the turn. Not so bad. The only thing I question is Darren Waller in the third. Love Harris, love Debo.
I was kind of with that too. I'm not as big on Waller
Like Schultz, Pitts, I would have taken one of those guys.
over Waller.
At least Schultz. I love Schultz more than Waller because there's targets need to be had in Dallas, and an alpha receiver like Devontae Adams, who is a red zone target, that's a tight end's like spot where they get catches. So I'm worried about Waller losing some touchdown value. Moving on, I love the Miles Sanders pick. Mike Williams. Brandon Cooks is my guy in the draft. Vanilla in the 6th round, gets you a lot of catches. Looking through there, D-Hop for after, was it week 6? He gets back.
Yeah.
Edmonds, Miami guys, I don't know who's going to be taking the lead in that backfield, but Edmonds is the lead dog in my eyes. Trey Lance is going to probably be everyone's QB MVP by the end of the year with his possible running value. We just don't know exactly how Shanahan's going to use him. I love Tony in the 10th. He's going to be like a my guy from now I know 9th round and down. And I don't really care about the last 3 picks. Those are homer picks there, but with Pickens. Waller hurts me in this draft. Everything else I agree with. I'd give him a B.
Yeah, I'm probably about there with you. If I was him, I would have taken Andrews with the 2nd pick. Then you wouldn't have had to make that Waller pick. Could have taken a Waddle and Mike Williams. I would have liked the team a lot better with that scenario. But getting Trey Lance in the 9th is huge. And I really do like the Hopkins pick. So, yeah. All right.
Those are our grades.
Those are our grades. Let us know in the comments if we're wrong. We'll maybe post this sleeper board for those of you that didn't make it. The replay will be available on YouTube. I just saw your comment, Josiah. I'm sorry. I would have loved to get you in this draft. Maybe the next one, we'll do a listener draft and we can get some people that aren't in our league and do a draft with you guys. Because we appreciate you guys sticking around. One of our most loyal fans there in Josiah. And, if you're still out there, Tim Cook, nothing would make me happier than to put you in a mock draft with us.
Gotta find you and put a face to your name.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. We will see you probably in a week or 2, and we'll probably do another mock. Tutorial will be coming out. Look out on the channel for that. But yeah, that's it. Anything else, Coach?
We'll see you guys in a week.
All right. See ya. Deuces.
Deuces.